V8s seem like something we're worried about are going away here in this car industry, and it's sad to us, but we have some ideas for you guys as well as the consumers everywhere to help save that.
Yes, so watch this video to find out how you can do your part to save the V8. So as y'all might know, V8s are near and dear to Josh and I's hearts. We love the sounds they make, we like the power they create, we like the fun cars that get
crappy gas mileage.
Yeah, well, we call it like what it is, but
smiles per gallon.
Smiles per gallon, and just all the fun that these type cars and engines usually get paired together with. So we've created a, if you will, GCG V8 Hall of Fame. So we have 7 V8s that we think are, in our opinion, legendary, will go down in history as some of the greatest engines, and the cars associated with them will be some of the greatest cars and maybe truck associated. Give you a little foreshadow right there. But the first one that we put on this list, and none of these are in any particular order, it's just ones that came to us in our minds. So the first one that we picked was the Ford Voodoo engine. So that is the 5.2 liter V8 that is put into the Shelby GT350s. And what makes this one special, I mean, it's got 526 horsepower, got 429 foot-pound of torque, but what makes this one special is the flat crank. And it allows the engine to rev up to a little bit over 8,200 RPMs.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just hear the sound of that.
That is a European style, almost like a Japanese 6-cylinder style of revving, or like even a 4-cylinder. Right. V8s usually don't rev that high, and especially in an American car. So the fact that this Ford Mustang does it, to me, that's going to make it a very valuable and very classic vehicle here pretty shortly.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison to like the Coyote that's put in the normal GTs during this time period, that thing sets itself apart. I mean, this is an engine they put in that Shelby GT350 that's made for the racetrack.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the Shelby GT50 just dominated the racetrack when it was first introduced. Like these things were just tearing up the tracks that they were running on. But going from Ford into Chevy, the Chevy V8 that we picked for this Hall of Fame is the LS7, which is their 7-liter naturally aspirated V8.
Huge.
Yes, that's pretty massive. They don't make V8s that big anymore, really. Now, in this one, they put it in the 6th generation Z06 Corvette, as well as the later model Z28 Camaro, which not very many people know about because it wasn't as popular, or not very many people bought them as much.
Yeah, shame on Chevy for not marketing them well enough.
Yeah, but it was their answer to the Boss 302, because it was a track-heavy car. It had a 7-liter V8 in it. Like, it is a bad-to-the-bone vehicle.
And I want to say that was the largest to this day displacement on a big block V8, naturally aspirated.
Yeah.
So no turbos. That is a special engine in its own right. So even to right now, you're looking at some of these other brands making 4-liter twin turbos, even the one that we just talked about being a 5.2. Having a 7-liter engine, that's just insane. But
if that doesn't speak to there is no replacement for displacement American mentality, I don't know what to.
I mean, and just listen to the exhaust notes of a 7-liter V8.
Oh yes, it is ridiculous. But then the other American company we put on here, FCA, Dodge, I think you couldn't make a list like this without putting the Hellcat engine on there.
Oh yeah.
So the earlier models of it had 707 horsepower, but some of the later ones have 717. So it's a 717 horsepower, 650 foot-pound torque vehicle.
Monster.
Supercharged 6.2 liter V8, goes into a boat of a size of a vehicle in either the Charger, the Challenger, or even the Grand Cherokee with the Trackhawk. So.
Yeah, what's crazy about those engines is the size of the supercharger they place on those things is already insane. I think it almost adds another 3 liters
It's
of
pretty
displacement to those engines, like somewhere up near there. So
Yeah.
already something special. And honestly, in my opinion, I'm not an FCA fan between Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, but the sound of that supercharger whine
Oh yeah.
makes my knees weak.
He fainted his
Oh my gosh. If you got one of those out there, be safe. I know that those things are absolutely crazy.
Oh yes,
but
especially
also
if you
a
have
gem.
its big brother, the Demon, also. So
Oh, man.
those things are just ridiculous. But we're gonna hop across the pond to a different supercharged V8, which is the Jaguar AJ133, which is what they put in their F types, and that is another supercharged V8, but it's only a 5 liter, so it's a 1.2 liter difference between that and the Hellcat, but you're still talking 592 horsepower and 562 foot-pound of torque.
Now, like Jacob just said with that 592 horsepower, we know that that's still 120-ish off of the Hellcats, but
It weighs so much
so much less. That's right. Now we're talking about a sports car, a beast, and it actually might be the most expensive car on our list, being that it's coming from Jaguar. But this is also, Jaguar's always had a bad name and a bad rep out there for being a car brand,
for reputation,
yeah, for
and
reliability. You know, but if you're talking about the heritage of Jaguar, it's got to be something about their V8s, and especially how they sound. I know in previous videos we've talked about that this is the loudest V8, the loudest engine or exhaust notes, whatever you want to call it, to come out of the manufacturer. So this is to legal terms. I mean, just give these guys a sound. Right here.
Credit where credit is due. It is a wonderful sounding V8, and we've both driven it at past Houston auto shows, and every year we drive it. It's just so much fun. That's the first thing we go stand in line for.
I fall in love with it every single time I touch the gas pedal.
I'm still saving up. Right now I got about $5 into my Jaguar savings account, so
working my way.
Yeah, but then still keeping it European style. Again, another vehicle we've talked about in past videos is the Mercedes-Benz M156 6.3 liter V8 that was in the C63 that you've talked about before, and you've seen in our earlier videos as well, little snippets of it.
Yep, and I mean, that's another car I've loved and fell in love with over and over. But fun facts that we have about the M56 is, in comparison to most AMG engines prior to this moment, it was the first built from the ground up AMG engine. So what does that mean? You're talking about most V8s and any engine AMG had used prior to that was a revamped or retuned Mercedes engine used on a previous model. This was the first engine to have itself built from scratch all the way up.
Solely designed for an AMG.
For that purpose. The M156 is a special engine, and it's also one of the last naturally aspirated monster V8s that you could buy from a Mercedes. So, me personally, I've looked into acquiring one just because that seems like a collector's item to me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you guys let us know what you think of that, but I mean, really cool V8 out there.
Yeah, and I mean, the one that you drove, it was the 507 edition, so 507 horsepower, but you can get some of them, they maxed out at 525 horsepower and 465 foot-pound of torque, so
right.
Still a good amount of power for that coupe, or even a sedan if you get it in a sedan.
And I think you were, you were also going into that other German one, it's like that M3, right?
Oh yes, you're a Mercedes guy, I'm going to lean more towards BMW, but I mean, either way, the competition here, BMW has the S65 4-liter, so definitely a significant amount less smaller.
Right.
But it's still a 420 horsepower, 295 foot-pound of torque, and also, much like our first engine on this, revs to a ridiculous 8,400 RPM.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very similar reasoning for why you would go out and acquire a C63 with the M156 in it.
Yeah.
Is the same reason you would get this between, was it E91 through E93 M3. So this is from 2007 to about 2013, and you could pick up a naturally aspirated V8 engine. Which this replaced at the time the inline 6, which is naturally aspirated before this moment. Now, both
Yeah.
engines, I actually think, but since we're talking about V8s, this is cooler because after this moment, they never touched another V8 unless you're in an M5 and you're talking about a twin turbo 4-liter V8 monster. So
Yeah. To completely throw the entire trend off of keeping it coupe and somewhat sedan based with the Mercedes and BMWs, we threw in a truck for you. And it is the Ford Boss 6.2 liter V8 that they put in the first generation of the Ford Raptor, which was 411 horsepower and 434 foot-pound of torque, which is the only engine on this list that has more torque than it does horsepower. So that's very in truck fashion. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it on my favorite cars of the decade.
yes, that was your pick.
That was my pick,
Yeah.
and I still to this day want to own one of those. I mean, I'm starting to think I need a lot more money and a bigger garage
Yeah.
and to own all of my special V8s that are to my heart
Oh,
and
yeah.
go collect my V10s that are out there. But
Somewhere.
yeah, that is a cool, man. I mean, to think nowadays, they're tuning for the current Raptor and also the current F-150 and their other models. It's
Yep.
just tuning it and adjusting the shifting times like that and stuff like that. I'm not as huge of a fan of the current Raptor as I am the older ones just because of
Yeah.
that giant V8.
I like the looks more, but when they went to the V6 twin turbo, to me it kind of took a little bit of the Raptor name away from it because a V8 sounds much more Raptor-like and more aggressive sounding than
It's something ferocious.
Yes, exactly. Sounds like the wild reptile that it was named after. But I tell one of my friends who's a big Mustang and Ford guy, I keep telling him, he's like, dude, what if we took a 6.2 liter Raptor engine, we dropped it into a Fox body?
I mean,
He tells me it's a bad idea, but I think he's wrong, so it's okay.
somehow squeeze it in there.
I guarantee you we could find a way. But
Now we
so-
told you guys about these V8s and everything. Now, as a consumer, we know car enthusiasts rave about these as well as manual transmissions, and that's a whole other can of worms. But
Save
in
the
my
manuals.
opinion, yeah,
hashtag save the manuals.
save the manual, save the V8s, whatever we got to do. You guys got to do your part out there and go grab one of these because the only reason they're getting rid of them outside of fuel standards is not enough people are buying them.
Which also could lead into fuel standards. People aren't buying them because of that, you know.
Right.
It's just dumb. I mean, heck, even with an F-150 like what mine is, mine's the EcoBoost, and the MPG is a little bit better than the V8,
Yeah.
but it's still a truck. But if you were to take, like, if we put a V8 in your car, like if it came with one, the V8's definitely not going to get better MPG than the 4-cylinder you have now.
Right.
So that's the reason why. So to do your part, buy up these V8s. Let us know when you do, so we can come look at them, drive them. I mean, ride in them, you know, and just review
Gotta
them.
enjoy them
Yeah, let us come check them out. But
for the love of all cars.
yeah, so if you have other V8s that you think should be on this list and you want to add into our Hall of Fame that we're starting up here,
Right.
let us know in the comments below on social media. Let us know what we forgot to add on here if you think you have better picks or if you disagree with what we picked. So,
Right, and remember, there's no replacement for displacement.
and with that, Gulf Coast Gearheads signing off.